Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, Laugh and Animation. I am so sorry that this video was delayed. With the whole New Year's thing, it was chaotic to say the least. So I am so sorry that this was delayed. I know you were expecting it to come out today. Anyways. Like and subscribe if you haven't done that already for part 3. And 4. Maybe even 5. Heck, I don't know how much I'm writing. I'm just going with it. But before we start, let me clear my throat real quick because I sound like a frog on the recording. Hold on, just... Alright, I'm gonna change my tone to sound almost a little like Todoroki's kind of tone of voice, but anyways, let's get to it. Todoroki sat next to the sofa where you lay asleep, his elbows on his knees as he sits on an old wooden chair. He fidgeted with his pistol, occasionally checking to make sure it was loaded. If you were to turn, the least he could do was to not let you suffer from the infection. The thought of ending your life was difficult for him. As you slept on the sofa, he was taking the time to fully process what's happened. The zombie attack, the infection, your recovery, it all weighed on his shoulders like a mountain. Why? Why did this have to happen to you? I can't lose you too. His head hung low, his eyes heavy from being sleep-deprived. It had been 3 days after the attack, after you were infected, and, as was expected, you hadn't woken up ever since Todoroki gave you those antibiotics. The infection took quite a toll on your body, enough so that you had been unconscious for more than a couple days. Todoroki tried to wake you up a few times so you could at least drink some water, not wanting for you to be dehydrated, but failed to do so. You were out cold, probably in some kind of dream world if not completely unconscious, leaving you in some black pit of darkness. Todoroki shifted in his seat, his head falling to the side as he started to fall asleep. His eyelids felt like lead at this point, too tired to stay awake for another minute. And, as if the drowsiness he felt was beckoning him to fall under its spell, he did so, right there and then. As the hours passed, Todoroki began to stir, the headache he felt earlier coming back to taunt him. He moaned, yawning as he regained consciousness. "What time is it?" he asked, looking at his watch. Wow, it's 8:34 in the morning. Did I really sleep for 15 hours? He glanced over at the spot where you should have been on the sofa, but found you missing. A chill went down his spine, immediately reaching for his pistol, which had fallen to the floor. He whipped his head around, searching for any sign of you. That's when he heard the sound of pots and pans in the kitchen, making him jump slightly. Todoroki slowly stood up, trying not to alert you of his presence. He raised his pistol, taking quiet steps towards the kitchen at the back of the bunker. As he approached the doorway, he peered around the door jamb, hoping not to be seen. Todoroki spotted you, standing in front of the stove, making pancakes. You seemed to be acting normal, noticing your dexterity as you carefully poured the batter from a bowl into the cast iron. He lowered his pistol, stepping through the doorway. You heard Todoroki behind you, and turned around to face him. You smiled brightly, happy to see him. "Oh, you're awake. Morning." Todoroki didn't answer, his eyes wide with shock. He shifted from one foot to the other, concerned by his reaction. Hey, are you okay?" you asked, completely forgetting about the pancakes you were making. He finally answered, his voice shaking as he spoke. You're okay." He rushed over to you, dropping his pistol as he wrapped his arms around you in a warm embrace. You felt hot tears on your shoulder, soaking into your shirt. You hadn't expected him to cry like this. "Don't ever scare me like that again, Snowflake. I don't know what I would have done if I'd lost you." You returned the embrace, gently rubbing his back to comfort him. "I'm okay, Shoto. I promise. You better be. I couldn't bring myself to end your life if you were still infected. You realized Todoroki's grief, hugging him tighter. I'm sorry I caused you so much pain. He pulled back, his hands on your shoulders. No, don't apologize. It's not your fault for getting sick like that. You sighed, your gaze casting off to the side. Yeah, but I could have avoided it if I didn't get frozen up by fear in the first place. Todoroki shook his head, his grip on your shoulders tightening ever so slightly. Still, it's not your fault. It was never your fault. You then were alarmed by the sudden scent of burning pancakes, having completely forgotten about them. Oh shit! Not the pancakes! You quickly took the pancake off the stove, placing its remains on a plate. You let out a sigh of frustration, tapping your fingers on the counter with annoyance. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Todoroki couldn't help but smile, then burst out laughing. You had rarely ever heard him laugh like that, so you rolled your eyes with a smirk on your face. Oh, you think that's funny? I'd like to see you do better. You playfully slap him on the shoulder, even though you were still visibly smiling. He chuckles, returning your playfulness with a teasing jab to your side. Sorry, I couldn't help it. You gave him a side-eye, trying not to smile. Oh well, it was worth it if I got to hear you laugh again. Todoroki blushed at your comment, momentarily speechless. My laugh? He asked, a little bit confused. You repeated yourself, smiling once more. Yeah, your laugh. It makes me feel better knowing you're happy and relaxed. Todoroki's blush deepened, now not even making eye contact with you. He felt a little alarmed, thinking you had said too much. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. No, it's fine. I actually am happy that you like my laugh. He slowly looked up, his eyes meeting yours. You both just stood there, staring at each other in silence. It was as if he was communicating with you simply by staring into your eyes. You then felt your own face heat up, a blush blooming across your cheeks. You were at a loss for words, not knowing what to say. Todoroki took a step closer, now just a couple feet away from you. He had expected you to move away, but you didn't, just standing there as you waited for him to get closer. He took 2 more steps toward you, his chest almost touching yours. He tilted your chin up to look at him, his eyes boring into yours. He whispers, his voice soft and sweet. Is this okay? You swallowed hard, your face as red as a tomato now. Yeah. Todoroki cupped your cheek with one hand, the other resting on your waist before he leaned in, his lips brushing against yours in a tender kiss. Your lips moved in sync before he pulled back, gauging your reaction. That was amazing, he said, a smile tugging the corner of his lips. You nod your head and reply, slightly breathless. Indeed, that was certainly something. You quickly move your attention back to the pancakes, trying not to sound awkward. How about breakfast? You haven't eaten yet. Todoroki gently grabbed your hand, making you look up at him once more. He mumbled, his voice low. That was my first kiss. You know that, right? You blush an even deeper shade of red, now unable to even make eye contact with him. Really? That was your first kiss? You stuttered, shocked by his confession. It was. You laughed softly, your hand over your mouth. Well then, I guess you can say that we can relate. Todoroki's breath hitched, astounded. Are you serious right now? I am. He smiled, pulling you into a hug. I'm glad I was your first. Same. It had now been 3 weeks, autumn fast approaching. Even if it was getting colder outside, It didn't stop the apocalypse from wandering around every single night. At this point, you and Todoroki had officially confessed to each other about your feelings, and were now a couple. And, as expected, nothing much changed around the bunker. You both treated one another like best friends, and worked out any problems or concerns you had. Though, a lot of time had passed since you were infected, Todoroki couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Yes, you indeed were well again, but something just didn't add up. Did those antibiotics really cure you? Or was the infection still inside of you? No matter how many times Todoroki asked if you were okay, he just wasn't convinced that you were 100% healthy again. It was night, the lights inside the bunker hidden by the curtains and boards that blocked the windows. You sat on the floor, reading a book in front of a fire which crackled and burned in the fireplace. You felt safe and warm, a feeling you had not experienced in a long time. Todoroki was off collecting firewood, despite the chill and danger that lay out there in the dark of the night. He would occasionally check in on you across the walkies, making sure everything was okay back in the bunker. Snowflake, this is Shoto. How are things back at the bunker? Do you copy? Yep, everything is going great back here. You? There was a few seconds of silence before he finally answered, sounding like he was out of breath. I ran into a small group of zombies, but I'm heading back to the base as we speak. Over. Oh my gosh, are you okay? His voice, all of a sudden, had been reduced to a husky whisper, trying not to make too much noise. I'm okay. Stand by. You felt a shiver run down your spine, already pulling your boots and gear on. You put on the last of your equipment, loading your pistol and placing it on your hip. You called across the walkies, checking on Todoroki. Shoto, this is Snowflake. What's your location? Over? Todoroki quickly answered, his voice panicked. I ran into a whole horde of them, and I'm being chased. Do not leave the bunker, whatever you do. Without a second thought, you dashed out the steel door, making your way towards Todoroki. You called across the walkie once more, your voice urgent. What's your location, Shoto? Answer me! He didn't respond, now wanting you to come out and find him. Shoto! Shit. You scout the area, looking for any signs of him. You then remembered the sound in the background you heard when talking to Todoroki over the walkies, the sound of dishes breaking and crashing furniture. Based on his last known location, the closest building with a kitchen would have been that little cafe just a few minutes away. You leap into your worn-down truck, starting the engine immediately. As the engine roared to life, you slammed your foot on the gas pedal, going from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just a few seconds. By the time you made it to the little cafe, you saw the horde of zombies that were pursuing Todoroki, clawing at the walls of the building trying to get in. You spotted Shoto on the cafe's rooftop, fighting off a couple zombies that had managed to climb up there. You opened your truck window, grabbing the M4 rifle you kept under your seat. You quickly loaded the gun and aimed it at one of the infected zombies at the entrance of the cafe. You fired without hesitation, now letting the bullets fly. They take down several of the infected beasts, the ones that survived the gunfire heading straight towards your truck. However, they couldn't have known that by pursuing you, when you had an M4 rifle in hand, was a death wish. They ran directly into the line of fire, dropping like flies. When you had finished them off, you jumped out of the truck, scrambling to the cafe's entrance. By the time you made it to the roof of the cafe, Shoto was on the ground, using only a metal rod to keep the beasts from attacking him. One had managed to wrestle Todoroki to the ground, now on top of him. Your blood ran cold, and you felt a surge of adrenaline and anger. You roared, charging at the beast. Get off of him! Your body suddenly transformed, your figure becoming muscular, your teeth growing longer and sharper, your eyes as red as blood, and your pupils dilated into slits like a cat's. You attacked, lunging at the zombie which pinned your lover. Your gnarly teeth sank into the zombie's neck, piercing its flesh. You rip out the monster's throat, making the thing drop dead on the ground. Your body, now heaving with exertion, turned to face Todoroki. He stood there, his expression blank. The adrenaline and anger you felt inside faded away as soon as you saw his reaction. your body transforming back into its normal form. You look down at your hands, shocked by what just happened. Whoa, that's never happened before. Todoroki finally speaks, his voice shaking. Snowflake, what happened to you? And that is it for the ASMR for today. Well, technically it's night, but whatever. That is it for the ASMR. I am making part 3, so don't panic. There's more. Plenty more, actually. Anyway, like and subscribe if you haven't already to witness part 3, part 4, maybe even 5. Who knows? Guess you'll have to find out in the next video. So stay safe, and I hope you have a good week. Bye, guys, and a happy new year to you all.
Here are some bloopers.
His eyes heavy from being sleep deprived. He had been... Oh my god, and I tripped up again. Todoroki's blush deepened. Now, not even looking... Shit, you bastard! We were well again, but something just didn't add up. Did those antibiotics really cure you? Shit. And anger. You roared, charging at the beast. Get off of him! You roared. That shit. The Todoroki ex-listener, zombie Apollo, and crap.